Good afternoon, students. So today we will discuss the second day of current affairs for Prelims 2025. We discuss some 3-4 topics today. From tomorrow I am planning, if possible, I will start one reading comprehension from previous year questions, if possible. I will let you know, but I will try maximum. Previous year one comprehension we will take and I will try to explain how to derive the answer tomorrow, if possible. For today we will complete some 3-4 topics of current affairs that are important for Prelims 2025. So one important topic that is in the news is non-banking financial companies, because recently RBI, even IMF also today pointed out that non-banking financial companies, the gross NPAs, that is non-performing assets, are getting increased. From last 3-4 days, there's non-banking financial companies in the news. So we'll discuss what are these non-banking financial companies, what are the provisions related to them. Okay, as the name suggests, they are not banks, but they are financial companies. They are established under Companies Act 1956. So they are not like ordinary banks. They are not like an ordinary banks. Generally, ordinary banks should get a banking license from RBI. They need a banking license from the RBI. Ordinary banks. However, non-banking financial companies register under the Companies Act. Some non-banking financial companies has their own acts, like Chit Fund Act. Chit funds also are non-banking financial companies. We'll discuss that later. But they have their own acts. Okay. So these non-banking financial companies, they are the financial companies, not a regular banks. Then question arises for you, because a common question may arise. When there are banks, what is the need of a financial companies? See, these banks will take the deposits from the people and they will do the business, they will lend. But over the time, what happened, the government thought they need a certain type of financial companies that need to play a different role. Like some may need to finance for infrastructure. Some may need to finance for infrastructure. See, infrastructure financing is very difficult, because infrastructure, in order to get the profits, it needs time. It needs time. See, suppose okay expressway lay chesindi anukundam. Let us say GML laid an expressway between Vijayawada and Hyderabad. So it needs a huge investment, and the returns will come after a long time. So these are called long gestation period projects. So for that, an infrastructure investment company is needed. That can be a non-banking financial company. An ordinary bank may not be able to realize this, because it is taking deposits from people. Okay. So for a particular reasons, various financial companies, non-banking financial companies, concept was introduced in Indian economy. Okay. One of the primary point in non-banking financial companies is they won't take current deposits, saving deposits. So there are two types of non-banking financial companies. See it carefully. One is deposit taking. Generally, we may feel that non-banking financial companies won't take deposits. No, there are some non-banking financial companies, they take deposits. Deposit taking non-banking financial companies and non-deposit taking. See, some financial companies are allowed to take deposits from the people, but they are only allowed to take term deposits. Not saving deposits, not current deposits. Only term deposits. That may be for 3 years, 5 years. They are called term deposits. Saving deposits or current deposits are not allowed to be taken. So, even though there are certain deposit taking financial companies, they take only term deposits. That means they mature after certain years. They are not allowed to take saving deposits or current deposits. Okay, other financial companies are non-deposit taking. Means they will raise money from various means. Some may raise through giving debt bonds in the stock markets, like that. Okay, and one of the important thing is they are not a part of a payments and settlement system. Means what? See, they can't issue a check. See, bank is a part of payment and settlements. I can give a check to a person and he can go to the bank and he can take the money. Or I can transfer money from my account to other account. This is called a payment and settlement system. But NBFCs are not a part of payments and settlement system. That means even there is a person who is depositing a term deposit in non-banking financial company, he don't have power to issue a check, because non-banking financial company is not a part of payment and settlement system. Very important point. They are not part of payment and settlement. So they can't issue checks. Okay, this is the basic concept of non-banking financial company. If you see, there is something called deposit taking non-banking financial companies. They accept FDs, that is fixed deposits. They are not saving and current accounts, as I said. Some are like non-deposit taking NBFCs. They just invest, leasing, etc. Investment and credit companies, infrastructure financial companies, microfinancial companies. These are very important. See, there are certain microfinance companies which are called NBFCs. The main target of microfinance companies is to lend small amount of loans mainly to unorganized sectors, maybe self-help groups, maybe a small business person. ఒక సైకిల్ షాప్ పెట్టుకునే వాడికైనా కూడా మైక్రో ఫైనాన్స్ ఇస్తారు. దేర్ కాల్ మైక్రో ఫైనాన్స్ కంపెనీస్. సో ఎన్బిఎఫ్సిస్ హౌసింగ్ ఫైనాన్స్ కంపెనీ ఫర్ హౌసింగ్ లోన్స్ and peer-to-peer lending platforms, account aggregators. Account aggregators are nothing but they aggregate the financial data of an individual customer and they provide to the banks so that the banks can decide whether person is eligible for loan or not. Like CIBIL anukondi, CIBIL score laga anukondi, just like that, if you can understand. Okay, so the difference we will see basically from NBFC and banks is accepting of deposits. They won't accept the deposits. They can accept only term deposits. They can accept both fixed deposits and saving deposits also. See, non-banking finance companies are regulated by various regulators. RBI regulates deposit taking NBFCs. Take this word. Deposit taking NBFCs are regulated by RBI. Some stock investment companies will be there. They are regulated by SEBI. Certain housing finance companies are there. They are regulated by National Housing Bank. Chit fund companies are there. They are regulated by state acts, respective state acts. But all the banks are regulated by RBI only. So there is dispersal of regulation. Issuing of check, they can't issue a check, they can issue a check because they are part of payments and settlements. So participator payment system, no, I already discussed. Lending activity, yes, both can lend, I already said. Finally, deposit insurance. See, what is the deposit insurance is, when you deposit some money into the bank, suppose the bank got closed, that means bank bank went into losses and bank was closed. Your deposit to a certain extent, at present it is 5 lakhs, I think, subject to correction, will be secured by insurance. So even the bank got closed, your amount up to 5 lakhs will be returned by the insurance company. That provision is there for banks, not non-banking finance companies. అంటే ఒక డిపాజిట్ టేకింగ్ నాన్ బ్యాంకింగ్ ఫైనాన్స్ కంపెనీకి వెళ్ళి నేను ఒక 5 లక్షలు ఫిక్స్డ్ డిపాజిట్ చేశాను అనుకుందాం 5 ఇయర్స్కి, మధ్యలో బ్యాంక్ కొలాప్స్ అయితే నీ మనీ కూడా పోతాయి. దెర్ వోంట్ బి ఎనీ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఫర్ దట్. క్లియర్? సో లిటిల్ బిట్ రిస్కీ, బట్ స్టిల్ వై పీపుల్ డిపాజిట్ ఇన్ చిట్ ఫండ్స్? మోర్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్, అంతే. ఓకే, సో యూ కెన్ సీ హౌసింగ్ ఫైనాన్స్ కంపెనీస్ ఆర్ regulated by National Housing Bank, insurance companies by Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, some stock broking firms by SEBI, already discussed here. Okay, then next important thing is, we know CRR, cash reserve ratio. See, banks need to maintain cash reserve ratio as per RBI, but NBFCs are not need to maintain. Remember this point. NBFCs won't maintain CRR. And SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, need to be maintained by banks. Even by NBFCs also, especially deposit taking NBFCs. However, that is not a fixed thing. That is not a fixed thing. Finally, liquidity coverage ratio, both are required to maintain liquidity coverage ratio. And asset liability mismatch rules are mainly relaxed. So I can say CRR need to be maintained by banks only, not NBFCs. SLR need to be maintained by both banks and deposit taking NBFCs, but their rules are more relaxed compared to the banks. Okay, after NBFCs, now we are going to discuss about National Green Tribunal. National Green Tribunal in the news because there's issue of felling of the trees in Delhi. So that's why we are going to discuss about National Green Tribunal. See, it is a statutory body established under 2010 National NGT Act. It was established by NGT, National Green Tribunal Act 2010. So as it is an act established body, it is a statutory body. Statutory body, it consists of a chairman, some judicial members, some experts from various fields. That may be from environment, forest, biodiversity, experts can be there. So generally chairman will be retired Supreme Court judge, and judicial members can be retired Supreme Court judge and High Court judge, and some experts. Okay, there are certain acts that fell under NGT. Any violations under these acts will fall under NGT, I mean. So Water Act, see, basically it's a green tribunal that is nothing but a pollution prevention board, to be frank, exactly speaking. So Water Act, that is Water Pollution Prevent Act, Air Act, Environmental Protection Act, and Forest Conservation Act and Biodiversity Act. All these fell under NGT jurisdiction because these related to pollution, this also related to pollution. Environmental protection is also falls under NGT, and forest, because forest is linked to again to Environment and Biodiversity Act. However, you see, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is not under NGT, not under NGT. And Forest Act 1927, it is also not under NGT. Why? See, it is Forest Conservation Act, something related to environment. Since the Forest Act mainly talks about rights of the people, so it is not under NGT. Similarly, Wildlife Protection Act, it is protection of wildlife, not about environment. So that's why that is also out of NGT jurisdiction. And NGT deals mainly cases related to civil cases only, not criminal cases. Criminal cases are exempted from NGT. Deals only criminal cases. Only cases of civil nature, not criminal cases. Okay, NGT has certain powers actually. It can fine the authorities which polluted a particular environment. So there is an event occurred in Delhi in the banks of Yamuna, Art of Living program around 2015, I think, 16, right? So NGT ordered to pay some amount by the Art of Living Foundation because for polluting Ganga or Yamuna. So it has the power to fine. Okay, I have given this one. So Owned Handle Wildlife Protection Act in an Indian Forest Act can provide a compensation and relief to the victims for pollution and environmental problems, and can order the restoration of damaged environment. Okay, if it is a public authority, suppose that fell the trees, it can order the restore the trees, impose fines and penalties, and it is expected, the act clearly says that NGT must dispose the cases within 6 months. NGT must dispose the cases within 6 months of time period only. Okay, right. That is about NGT. Today, one more thing in the news is Wallace line. It is something specially written in Hindu. So this is related, comes under environment topic. So generally question may come like this. First, let me discuss about this Wallace line. See, this concept was first proposed by Alfred Wallace. What happened is, suppose say this is Asia. This is Australia. Assume. See, Asia we have various flora and fauna. We have cheetahs, we have tigers, we have orangutans, etc. But when you go to Australia, we have kangaroos and some other animals. We can see, even though they are less distance, see, Asia and Australia has very less distance compared to other, even it is equal to Africa also. But the diversity of flora and fauna is very much different. Then this Alfred Wallace gave an imaginary line called Wallace line that passes through the Indonesian Bali. He says that there is a barrier that existed long back between these two continents. And what he said, Wallace line coincided with the deep ocean trench that have existed for millions of years. That means there is a proof that it is an imaginary line. Millions of years ago, there is a trench ante oka gunta. There is a ocean lo oka trench undi. The trench acted as a barrier for movement of the species across. Because of that one, the species got isolated. If you see in anthropology, isolation results into formation of new species and new order also. Anthropology students can relate. It says, suppose say, there are two squirrels from the two sides. Because of some physical isolation, the squirrels got separated. Over the time, due to the environmental and evolutionary pressures, they may develop into two different species. When two different species come, what is the difference? See, two different species never interbreed. They can't give babies. See, before this isolation, they can interbreed and can give babies. After this isolation, they evolved separately and they can't interbreed and they can't give babies. Both formed a new species. Because of this Wallace line, there happened different species in Australia and Asian continent. That is the concept actually. Okay. How the UPSC may ask, see, UPSC generally asks a single word questions in this type of questions. Like they may ask Wallace line related to what? It is a line, or we can say it is something related to a difference in fauna and flora between due to some physical barriers. Okay. Or Wallace line refers to what? Biodiversity. Or Wallace line gives a proof for evolution. Okay. The single word comes generally. So remember, when you think about Wallace line, you will get only single line answer, single line question. So just remember what it says. Number of times UPSC put this type of single line questions from papers, newspapers. When something interesting they feel, they will generally asking. So environment, this question can be asked this year. So come to cryptocurrency. See, cryptocurrency is very much in the news because Trump recently said he was going to introduce a crypto reserve as a part of reserves of Federal Reserves. Okay. So let us see something related to cryptocurrency and what are the regulations that India follows. See, cryptocurrency are virtual currencies. They are, see, generally let us see what is a currency first. See, in India we have a note. Okay. See, what is this note? This note is nothing but it was issued by a RBI. Okay. That is a legal tender. That means it can be used for transaction. See, ఇప్పుడైనా ఒక్కసారి ఆలోచించండి, ఈ నోటు ఒకరికి ఎందుకు వస్తుంది చెప్పండి? బికాజ్ హీ డన్ సమ్ వర్క్. సపోజ్ దెర్ ఈజ్ ఎ కూలీ, ఒక 4 గంటలు కష్టపడ్డాడు, అతనికి ఒక 500 రూపాయలు వస్తున్నాయంటే దిస్ నోట్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ ప్రూఫ్ ఆఫ్ హిస్ వర్క్. Proof of his work. So he done somewhere a work worth of 500 and he goes to the market with this 500 rupees and he buys somewhere. Suppose he went to market and he buys some mutton, assume, worth of 500. ఈ మటన్ వీడికి ఎలా వస్తుంది? He done some work that is worth of 500. That is the meaning of a legal tender or a currency. So cryptocurrency is a virtual currency. That means that can't be seen, but it's basically based on crypto mining and blockchain technology. So it's a blockchain technology that is behind this cryptocurrency. Okay, here this note was issued by a central bank, but cryptocurrency is decentralized. That means there won't be a single owner for a cryptocurrency. So ఈ టాపిక్ చెప్తే చాలా డీప్గా ఉంటుంది, బట్ ఐ విల్ గివ్ ఏ పెరిఫరల్ వ్యూ. సి, దెర్ ఆర్ మల్టిపుల్ నోట్స్ మీన్స్ మల్టిపుల్ కంప్యూటర్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ డీసెంట్రలైజ్డ్. సో ద cryptocurrency will be validated by this decentralized nodes. Here this validated by centralized authority called RBI. RBI gives the validation. But for cryptocurrency, the decentralized network of computers will give the validation. And anonymity. Anonymity is one of the feature of cryptocurrency. See, in a bank account, if you are transferring a money, RBI get to know that who is sending and who is receiving. But cryptocurrency, no one knows because it is decentralized. There is no central authority. And it is very secure because it uses a cryptography, a coding system. So it can't be manipulated. So it is very secure and it can be used for global transactions because internet has no boundaries. Okay. ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే there is no conversion costs. See, ఎప్పుడన్నా మీరు డాలర్స్ ఇండియా పంపించాలంటే there is some percentage that will be taken by these banks. But cryptocurrency, that is very less. So with low cost, we can transact at international level using cryptocurrency. Okay. So let us see some advantages of cryptocurrency. It is a decentralized entity, low transaction cost because there are no intermediaries. Financial inclusion. Why financial inclusion? For transacting for cryptocurrency, we don't need a bank account. It is your wallet that plays the role. And security is one of the key features. However, challenges. See, how to regulate the biggest challenge, let us see. How to regulate the cryptocurrency? This is the biggest issue. See, cryptocurrency is not under a central authority like RBI. Then how to regulate? Initially, India kept a blanket ban on cryptocurrency. However, Supreme Court said it can't be done. So we need to regulate. How to regulate? That is the biggest problem. And heavy ka regulate cheyala, light ka regulate cheyala. If heavily regulated, we are discouraging an innovation. We are discouraging advantages of cryptocurrency. If it is lightly regulated, because of its anonymous nature, it can be used for money laundering, terror financing, national security issue. That is one of the issue with regulatory uncertainty. Similarly, inko problem undi ikkada. See, RBI gives a monetary policy, interest rate hikes ayini taggistundi penchutundi. On what basis it will take the decision? Because RBI has the overall value of money in the system. It knows the overall value of the money in the system. Based upon the overall value, it will take the decision relating to monetary policy. But cryptocurrency అనేది ఎంత వాల్యూ ఉంది అనేది ఆర్బీఐకి తెలియదు. It is very volatile. ఇష్టం వచ్చినట్టు పెరుగుతుంది, ఇష్టం వచ్చినట్టు పడిపోతుంది. Because of this, the monetary policy implementation also becomes difficult. Okay, that is also one more point. And price volatility, because it's speculations. See, crypto assets are completely speculations. ఈ రోజు ట్రంప్ said that I am going to maintain a reserve of cryptocurrencies. Suddenly cryptocurrencies got increased. Tomorrow suppose Biden comes, he said I will remove. It suddenly falls. So it volatility because no one guaranteeing its price. Security risk, I already said. Illicit use and environmental impact. Because see, for mining a cryptocurrency, we need huge amount of energy. See, మీరు చూస్తే మామూలు కంప్యూటర్స్తో క్రిప్టో మైనింగ్ చేయలేరు. We need graphic cards which need heavy power. So that also causes environmental issues. Okay, these are the advantages and issues with cryptocurrency. So what India did, let us say, initially RBI banned cryptocurrency in 2018, but the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, overturned this. It said RBI doesn't have the jurisdiction to ban this. Then what India government said is, we are not recognizing cryptocurrency as legal tenders, but we are recognizing it as virtual assets. Means what? See, క్రిప్టోకరెన్సీని మేము లీగల్ టెండర్స్గా రికగ్నైజ్ చేయట్లేదు. మీనింగ్ అవి నోట్లలాగా కొనుగోలు అమ్మకాలు చేయడానికి వీల్లేదు. అంటే జనరల్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్కి పనికిరావు, లీగల్ టెండర్గా మేము గుర్తించట్లేదు. అయితే వాటిని అసెట్స్ కింద గుర్తించుతున్నాం. అసెట్స్ అంటే లైక్ ఏ బిల్డింగ్, లైక్ ఏ షాప్, లైక్ ఏ కార్. వీఆర్ రికగ్నైజింగ్ క్రిప్టోకరెన్సీ యాజ్ ఏ అసెట్, ఏ వర్చువల్ అసెట్. సో కాబట్టి you can transact in the stock market, that is crypto markets. Okay, so they are not illegal, at the same time they are not legally tendered, but they are recognized as virtual assets. And Indian government imposed 30% tax on cryptocurrency gains. అంటే నువ్వు ఒక cryptocurrency మీద ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేసావు, 1000 rupees, you gain 2000 rupees, you have to pay 300 rupees, that is gain. 1000లో 300 rupees tax కట్టాలి. It's just like క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్ ట్యాక్స్ ఇన్ ద అసెట్స్. మీకు తెలుసు కదా, ఎప్పుడన్నా మీరు యొక్క అసెట్ మీరు ఓన్ చేస్తుంటే దానివల్ల ఏదైనా గెయిన్స్ వస్తాయి, క్యాపిటల్ గెయిన్స్ వస్తే దాని మీద మీరు ట్యాక్స్ కట్టాలి. జస్ట్ లైక్ దట్. అండ్ ఆల్సో ఇట్ ఇంపోజ్డ్ 1% ట్యాక్స్ డిడక్షన్ at sources. So the source where this transaction is taking place should pay 1% of transaction, 1% of worth of transaction. Okay. So this is what about cryptocurrency and Indian regulations. Okay. So next we'll see one mapping generally, a Black Sea mapping. We'll end up with this. See why Black Sea is so much in the news, because it is something from which the Ukraine and Russia also access towards other countries. If you see Black Sea borders Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia, and finally Russia. Remember this. Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, and Georgia. Okay. You see from the Black Sea, we have a sea called Sea of Marmaras. Okay. Marmara, Sea of Marmara. So we have a strait here. This strait is called Bosporus Strait. Remember the strait names also. They may ask which strait, they may give a match polling. Bosporus Strait connects Black Sea and Sea of Marmara. And we have one more strait called Dardanelles Strait that connects Black Sea to Aegean Sea. Okay. And Ukraine is surrounded by Black Sea on one side and Sea of Azov on other side. Black Sea is in south, Sea of Azov in east. Okay. So just I want to give a map of Black Sea. Just remember this and try to understand. And this is a Mediterranean Sea, you all know. And this is a Caspian Sea, right? So today we end the class here. We'll end the class here. From tomorrow, along with current affairs, I will discuss one comprehension if is possible. Reading comprehension from previous questions. How to get the answer, I will give my own opinions. That may be useful for you. Thank you.